Are we using body positivity as an excuse to stay stuck?
Just a reminder that I am very fat and very sexy, and I am 100% glorifying obesity, and there's nothing you can do.
The original goal was to fight for respect, but somewhere along the line, we've twisted it into don't change, don't improve, don't question. Is this movement actually helping us grow, or has it become a way to avoid the hard truth? Today, we're gonna be talking about the toxic side of body positivity. Body positivity started out with a mission to ensure people weren't judged or dehumanized based solely on their appearance. This was really essential. People in bigger bodies were really just fighting for basic respect, fair treatment, and just equal opportunities. But somehow, a movement born out of dignity has turned into, let's be frank, a way for people to avoid self-improvement.
I'm just gonna say something, and that's the last I'm gonna say about it. Okay, there are worse things you can be than fat. You could be hungry.
Hi, if you're new here, I'm Alyssa Amanla. I'm a fitness content creator, and I have lost 60 pounds naturally within a year. I have gone from over 235 pounds pre-diabetic into one of the best physical shapes I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm still evolving, I'm not done yet. We really need to sit and honestly ask ourselves, how do we go from demanding respect and basic just human rights to celebrating and glorifying being stagnant? To understand body positivity today, we have to go back to our roots. The movement actually began with fat rights movement in the 1960s. In 1969, a young engineer, Bill Fabry, was in New York, and he found himself really pissed by the way that the world was treating his wife, Joyce. She faced constant discrimination, ridicule, and judgment, not just from strangers, but often from institutions that were supposed to support people. This really pissed him off, and as a good husband, he took action, founding the National Association to Aid Fat Americans. It was basically an organization that stood up against fat shaming and discrimination. It really just demanded that people be treated with dignity no matter their size. What was really amazing about this movement was its aim to change how society as a whole viewed people within bigger bodies. The goal wasn't just stay as you are. That wasn't what it was about. It was just a way to demand respect, fair treatment, and equality. You have to really understand that at this time, this was revolutionary. And as we know, in the 60s, there were multiple revolutions happening. People in larger bodies just existing were often mocked, ridiculed, not felt to be safe, and just denied very basic services. The fat rights movement really just brought forth the notion that everyone deserves dignity, and I agree with this completely. People like Bill Fabry was fighting for their loved ones. He was a real one, okay? This is a really good husband. He wanted the right for his spouse to exist without judgment, harassment, or marginalization. He demanded respect, not just in society, but in the workplace, in healthcare, and in media. This laid the groundwork for what will become body positivity as we know it today. But the original movement was never about promoting unhealthy lifestyles or avoiding accountability. It was just advocating for fundamental human rights. Fast forward to today as we know it, the message has evolved, and in some ways, I believe that it's lost its original meaning. What began as a fight for respect has sometimes been twisted into a movement that celebrates complacency and avoids the hard truth about personal responsibility. The core of the movement was about affirming that on a common human level that people deserve respect. But the key is it was also acknowledging that self-respect acknowledges growth. I like to believe that the movement's founder didn't envision a culture of complacency when they created this. They envisioned one with compassion paired with empowerment. The way that body positivity has evolved today, I really think just comes down to basic human psychology, which I think is really rooted in a lot of things. We as humans, regardless of what you look like and who you are, we are just wired to avoid discomfort. Our brains see change, discipline, and self-improvement as threats, like, oh my gosh, no, danger. Because at the end of the day, they push us out of our comfort zones. The body positivity narrative that says, love yourself as you are, really just feeds into this. It's easier to say, I'm perfect just as I am, than it is to really just sit with ourselves and ask ourselves the really hard questions. Am I actually living my life in a way that is healthy? And let's keep it a buck 100. Am I respecting my body? This body that you are currently in, as you are watching this right now, it's the only body that we get. Literally. You can't go to a shop and get a body on loan, at least not yet. So many of us, when we embrace this complacency, we just let our mind control us to thinking that We are good staying comfortable. TV shows like 1,000-Pound Sisters with Tammy and Amy, and let me be clear, I actually am a huge fan of Tammy and Amy's show, but we have to be honest that people really just tune in to watch the lives that are often defined by self-neglect and avoidance and personal growth. Now, Tammy and Amy have been on weight loss journeys. That's part of the show, as they are trying to get healthier. We see the sisters struggling, going back and forth between wanting change and resisting it. And I think it's really relatable for a lot of people. We see people who are stuck, and it forces us to confront our own complacency. Tammy and Amy's situation didn't come from loving themselves too much. It came from letting comfort override self-care. That's the toxic side of body positivity that we just aren't talking about. Another trend that we often see is normalizing inactive lifestyles. And it's really just under this umbrella of body positivity. Some creators openly share that they don't exercise at all, calling it a form of self-love and living authentically. There's plenty of influencers, we've seen it, that claim that exercise isn't for everyone and to promote a complete rejection of any form of physical activity. This is absolutely crazy. They argue that suggesting that physical activity equates to body shaming, which I just don't agree with. While it's true that people should enjoy different forms of movement they love, but this message can sometimes be misinterpreted as promoting an inactive lifestyle, which has a clear health implications. While it's true that people should enjoy various different forms of movement, I don't believe that there's one form of movement for everybody. But this messaging of, I just don't work out, I don't move my body at all, has really clear health implications. Like, I think that people don't understand that you, if you're lucky, are going to get older. And if you are not moving your body at all, there are going to be real implications of that. We see it all the time with the elderly. You need to stay mobile, and you just not moving your body, you're just not making it a priority. I recently was on Jubilee's Fit versus Fat, and there were so many comments about, to be frank, there were a lot of excuses, but there were a lot of comments just about, I don't have time to prioritize my health. We only have this one body. Now, the way that you move your body may be different. Maybe you can only walk a few times a week, but there needs to be some form of movement. Not prioritizing your health, I'll never understand that. We also see things like food freedom, where influencers eat whatever they want with the message that no food is bad food. And I understand what this is trying to say. I get the sentiment. I think food freedom is valuable in rejecting restrictive eating. But like anything, people take it to the extreme, sharing posts where they binge on junk food with captions like self-love means eating whatever you want. We see it time and time again where people consume an enormous amount of fast food and celebrate it as self-love. While freedom to enjoy food is important, promoting unbalanced eating habits under body positivity can just become confusing, especially for the younger audiences who may not see the difference between food freedom and just nutritional health. And this kind of narrative and dialogue creates this idea that any form of health improvement advice is inherently judgmental and fat phobic. And I just call bullshit. I did a video on my own social media with a series called Women Who Love Themselves. And I talked about women who love themselves are disciplined. And I truly wholeheartedly believe that. I think that if you truly care about yourself and your body, you develop discipline. It's an act of self-love to fuel your body, to develop discipline, to want better for yourself. I 100% stand by that. I don't see how people can say that they love themselves truly to their core when they are just living such unhealthy lifestyles. Of course, we know that brands have jumped on this as well because complacency makes a lot of money. Companies now sell the idea of self-acceptance with everything from fast food to clothing. They tell us to indulge, you deserve it, accept your body as it is, and treat yourself. It sounds good on the surface, but what's really going on here? If you are 100% honest with yourself, you know these messaging that we see are designed to keep us consuming without even thinking about or questioning what we are doing to ourselves. Marketing isn't about helping us become the best versions of ourselves. That's not where the money is. It's about selling a feeling. It's about selling nostalgia. It's really about just making us be consumers and being healthy. Real self-love isn't in a product that you're gonna buy, it's in the discipline. And this is where I'm gonna have to draw the line. And a lot of you guys are gonna be pissed off, but I encourage us to have a healthy, open dialogue, okay? You don't have to agree with me, but acceptance does not mean complacency. You can love your body wholeheartedly and still require more from it. Real self-love should be empowering to you to take personal accountability. And a lot of people do not want to be accountable. It's like a word that people avoid at all costs. People want a pass to ignore the hard truths. They want a pass to be like, hey, I'm actually not doing great things for my body right now. They want to pass for it's actually really affecting my mental health. If you really do love yourself, like people say that they do within the body positivity movement, you would hold yourself accountable. You would hold yourself to a higher standard. You really need to ask yourself, am I holding myself to a high standard or am I just being comfortable? That's the question that we all need to start asking ourselves. I ask myself this daily. I really just have a moment and sit with myself and think like, is this the highest version of me? Is this going to benefit me? And if it isn't, I try to avoid it. I don't always avoid it, but that's the goal. That's the aim. And a lot of my main issues with body positivity is I feel like it really just lacks accountability. Sometimes loving yourself means holding yourself accountable to change. It's okay to have pride with who you are, but that pride should never prevent you from striving to be better. This is the message of body positivity movement that needs to be more embraced. Because when we stop holding ourselves accountable, we give up the chance to truly grow. Bottom line is body positivity should never be an excuse to avoid issues with our health. And I really want you to ask yourself, are you loving yourself or are you just being comfortable? I truly believe that real love is about showing up every single day with the commitment to be better than you were yesterday. Do you fall short? Absolutely, but it's the goal. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do value my YouTube community. Make sure you guys are following my social media below. I'll leave the handle in my description. I'm very active on my social. You get to see that I am a woman who walks the walk and talk the talk, okay? I'm not just talking to you guys about health and fitness and not living that lifestyle. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.